There's the story that people tell, and then there's the truth that really matters. Welcome to the Growth Obsessed podcast, real and raw conversations on leadership, business, and the relentless pursuit of growth. No fluff, no highlight reels, just the struggles, the setbacks, and the lessons that build true success. I'm Ben Lang. I sit down with the most driven entrepreneurs and leaders to uncover what really shapes them. The pain, the resilience, and the breakthroughs. Now, if you're here, you're not looking for surface level motivation. You're here to be challenged, to grow. So let's get real. Let's get uncomfortable. This is the Growth Obsessed podcast. Now, don't forget to subscribe now. The conversation that you need, it might be the one that changes everything. Today, I'm so blessed to have Kelly Cochran, and also known as the Loud Blonde. She is a #1 bestselling author, a sought-after speaker, an unapologetic branding expert with a mission to help women turn their too much into their superpower. After being proudly fired from corporate America for standing up for what she believed in, Kelly built a brand that's now reached over 9 million people, grown to 115,000 engaged followers, and inspired a movement of women ready to stop playing small. Through her hit podcast, The Loud Blonde Show, and her signature program, Branded to Booked Academy, Kelly teaches entrepreneurs and small business owners and thought leaders how to master their message, own their authority, and get paid what they're worth without dimming their shine. So if you're ready to stand out, speak up, and sell out in the best way, Kelly's your go-to guide for building a brand that's as bold as you are. Kelly, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
I'm so pumped. So pumped. Tell me a little bit. So you said you got fired from proudly fired.
I've actually been proudly fired 5 times now. I would just call myself unemployable at this point.
That's not always a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing if you're an entrepreneur. I feel like most entrepreneurs are really unemployable. We hate having bosses. We hate having other people tell us what to do. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also, I like to wear a backward hat and t-shirt to work, and you can't do that.
Exactly.
So tell me how you were in corporate America. How long were you in corporate America for?
Oh gosh, I was in corporate America up until 2017, and I graduated college a long time before then. So yeah, about 15, 20 years.
15 or 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
I used to be a product owner and a project manager for marketing departments. So I would run teams of software engineers and copywriters and creatives for marketing departments for really big, cool tech companies. It was really cool. It's a great career path if you want to do the 9 to 5. So it's really fun.
Okay. And tell me, what was the catalyst? Did you get fired first and then you had to come up with something, or was there a plan? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been the person who has side hustles. I feel like a lot of us are like that if we're in the 9 to 5, but we have that entrepreneurial spirit. We're always creating things on the side. So I remember I used to have a brand called Pretty Tipsy, and it was all fun wine themed merchandise. And then just one day I was like, I don't think I was put on this planet to create funny, punny wine t-shirts anymore. So yeah, when I got fired, I think it was my 4th time. I was working for this big company in San Diego. I thought it was my dream job. I had gone to New Zealand for a couple of weeks on vacation, and I came back, landed in the States, opened up my email to see what I had missed, and I had a new organizational chart in my inbox, and my name wasn't on it. So that was how I realized that they were reorging me right out of a job. And so after that, I basically was pretty depressed because my whole kind of life, I was like, well, this is what I do. I lead this marketing team, and this is my identity. And I feel like a lot of us have that problem when we're in corporate America, is you really hold on to that identity. I've noticed my dad just retired, and he was a lawyer for, I don't know, 1.5 million years. And it's funny to watch these baby boomers retire because really their whole identity was their work. And so that's kind of how I felt when I got fired. I was like, well, now who am I? What do I do? And so I kind of sat with that for a couple months, just kind of, sadly eating ice cream on the couch. And then one day, this whole idea of loud blonde came to me because I've always been known in my family as being really loud and outspoken. And I was like, well, I can't call myself that. I can't like name my brand that. No one will take me seriously. But the more I sat with it, the more I was like, well, I don't want to be taken seriously by corporate America. I want to speak to women like me who are always like shut down for being the loudest person in the room, for standing up for what they believe in. So maybe I just lean into that. And once I leaned into it, man, it just took off. So yeah, I've been the loud blonde since I think 2018.
2018. I love what you said there, leaning into who you are. I really am I'm a strong believer that authenticity, it wins every single time. Like nothing beats authenticity. And when you live in your true self, and I train a lot of salespeople, right? And and I tell them all the time, like what works for me might not work for you. It has to, whatever, I hate to use the word techniques, but whatever you're doing, it has to feel authentic to you. And
Absolutely.
that's when it'll actually work with any kind of sales or persuasion. So tell me, like, what were you scared when you were making this transition? So you started, Loud Blonde. Tell me exactly what is the brand?
So, well, the brand has evolved a lot since 2018. So it's interesting. I really wanted to write a book. And so when I got fired, I was like, well, now I have all this time that I can actually devote to writing a book. I've been a writer forever. I used to write for magazines all the time in my 20s. And so I was like, well, maybe I should write this book. So I ended up meeting this amazing book coach named Azul Tarones, and he actually helped Pat Flynn write his book, Will It Fly? And so I got a meeting with Azul, and he's like, okay, tell me this book you want to write. And my whole background had been like SEO and marketing. So I was like, well, I kind of want to write this book about like SEO and I'm sure everyone listening to this knows that search engine optimization. And it's so boring even talking about it. And so he's like, okay, yeah, you could do that. But like, tell me about you. And I just went off. I got on my soapbox and I was like, well, here's the deal. Like, I'm always the woman standing up for other people's rights and standing up for my rights. And I'm the only one who will go to HR. I'm the only one who blah, 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 blah. And I was on my soapbox. And so Azul was laughing. And he goes, okay, well, I want you to picture this. At the end of your life, do you want to be known as Kelly the marketer? Or do you want to be known as the woman who led this massive movement of loud women? And I go, well, that. And he goes, okay, that's the book you write. And so I ended up spending 10 months writing my book, Loud, Silence Your Critics and Turn Up the Volume on Your Life. And so that was more kind of a book about like where I had come from. Like I go back and read some chapters now and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I've lived like 16 lives since I launched the book in 2019. But it's really evolved into, it was kind of like helping women find their voice. And how I do that is through branding. And I love speaking on stages. So it's like, how do I take your story and what is your unique about your story? And like you were saying, your authenticity. What is that piece of your authentic self that's going to resonate and that's going to make your brand story really react with your ideal client? And so that's what I do. And then it's taken another whole shift this year. In the last couple months, I've gone crazy viral because I really leaned into politics, which I've been wanting to lean into for about the past year. And I was like, oh God, I can't lean into politics. Like it's the whole thing. I can't call myself loud blonde. Oh, I can't do this. But I always have really good success listening to that inner voice that just keeps me up at night. And so there is enough nights at 4 a.m. that we're saying you need to talk about what you're seeing on the news and happening in American cities right now. And so, man, I just started going live on Instagram and I have a couple videos that I think have almost 3 million views. And yeah, people are really resonating with my message. So again, it's just all about like leaning into your authenticity, leading with your loudest voice, not being afraid that people are going to have a different opinion than you, because that's okay. Like we can all have different opinions, especially in politics. We're all going to have different opinions, but just, yeah, use your voice because it's your biggest weapon. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
I love that. So your first book, so I just wrote a book too,
Amazing.
and it was a process. And tell me about, bringing the book. is that the book that you were just talking about? Is that the one that was a number one bestseller?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me what's going through your head. You released the book, like, and I'm sure there's people who listen to this are entrepreneurs. They're addicted to growth, obviously.
Love that.
Tell me, like, for me, I haven't gotten my book. I think my book is amazing, but it hasn't really taken off, and I haven't done nearly enough social. And I've got my hands in a million different pots, and
Oh, yeah. I
like
feel
like
that.
most like most people, right? So what's your advice? What's your advice to anyone who might be listening, who's thinking about writing a well, first of all, yeah, let's go that route first. If you're
Okay.
thinking
Book.
about writing a book, like, what's your advice there? And then if you follow through and you actually launch it, what's your advice to get it seen?
Okay. I love that. So for writing a book, I would really think about who your audience is for your book and what they're going to get out of it. What value are you giving to your audience before you write it? So again, it was like that marketing book versus my loud book. It just, the audience was totally different, right? Like I really thought about it, and in working with my book coach, I was like, marketing trends change so fast that as soon as I published that book, it was going to be out of date. And there's free stuff on YouTube. I mean, even more now, but back then there wasn't as much. But I mean, there's free stuff that people can find anywhere on the internet. So what is your message that's different than anything people can find for free? And what is your unique take on that? So like, I doubt I'm the first person that has written about, being loud, using your voice, standing up. But my take is super unique. And I really wanted to speak to women like me who are feeling the same way I am, who have been fired, who've been shut down, like I tell a story in my book about being told to sit down and shut up during a meeting by one of my colleagues. And so I think those stories really resonate. So it's like, what stories do you have that'll resonate with your audience? And what's really the goal of your book? Because if the goal of your book is just like, I want to be famous, I want to be like, that'll come through and it'll just be disingenuous. So like my book was really like pouring my soul out of all of these stories that I've had of being a woman who's too loud, too opinionated, and pouring that out on the page. And that's why people resonate with it. So I would say, what's your goal? What's your story? Who's it for?
That you said that, and we have a very similar story, because when I went to my book coach, he's like, "Yeah, you've done amazing things in the real estate world, and you should write a book about real estate." And I'm like, "No, but I also blew up my life with addiction and have come back from that, and I want to get real vulnerable and share my story. And if one person reads it and it gets them out of addiction, then I won." And that
Yes.
was the premise for my books.
Yes, I love that. I had the same thing. I was like, if I help one woman realize she's not too much, just one reader who I don't know, if I help her know that she's not too much and her voice matters, I've done my job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so true. It's so true. And I think a lot of people think like, okay, and some people do. Some people, they'll make pretty good money on book sales, but I wrote mine to kind of get my foot in the door for speaking engagements as well,
exactly. Yeah, so
right?
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to give you behind the curtain real talk, everybody. You do not make money writing a book. I can tell you that right now. I am a number one bestseller. I have made nothing on my book. So unless you have a massive following, you're already famous, you're already a Brené Brown or someone like that, your residuals off book sales aren't going to be anything. What you write a book for is it is an awesome business card. It is the best business card you can have. So for me, saying I'm a number one best-selling author is a massive business card to get me in front of groups I want to be in front of and on stages I want to be on. Absolutely. Yeah. So don't write a book thinking you're going to make money being
I
an
mean, I
author.
do get
I
like,
mean, you could be a J.K. Rowling, but who
I get
knows?
like,
Yeah. I don't even check mine. I'm like, oh, KDP royalties, cool. It's like 16 cents. Like, who cares?
I know.
Well, and I usually have a ton of books on my bookshelf, but I just mailed a bunch of them out. Like, I love giving author signed copies. Like any event I go to, I'm doing a big event in San Diego the week after we're recording this. And I'm just bringing boxes full of books with me. And every seat at that event will get one of my signed copies of my book. Because I just like doing that. It gives some like a tangible something for people to take away. It costs me $3.50 a copy for author copies. So it's just a really cool way to get your story out there, and it's a great business card that people won't throw away.
Yeah, I really wanted to get into that because I haven't shared that with anybody, and I think, I have the same exact, like, I buy my author copies, they're $3.50 for me too. And I've got like 500 of them ready to go. If
But
I'm
yeah,
ever speaking or, I just kind of give them to people I know. And like you, I do love doing the signed copies. Tell me about, all right. So we talked about authenticity, and you said recently, you started talking more about politics, which is for me, I've got a pretty big social following, and talking about politics to me is extremely scary. Like, so number one, props for doing that because I don't wanna offend people.
see, I don't have that problem.
So, like, tell me though about the mindset that it takes to just put yourself out there without, you know and I know in my heart of hearts, okay, the people that unfollow me for what I say, they're not my people, they're not my
Yeah.
tribe.
Yes.
They're not.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I am the biggest proponent of you're not trying to attract everyone. If you're trying to attract everyone, you're attracting no one. I'm going to say that again so it really sinks in. If you are trying to attract everyone, you are attracting no one. You need to be a bit divisive in your messaging. Not saying you have to talk about politics, but politics is a really easy one to be divisive in. But, if I like, can I help coach men with their branding and help them get on stages and podcasts? Absolutely. I gear my story and my info and my coaching towards women because I want to niche down. I want to attract people who really connect with my story. So could I work with everyone? I mean, technically, yeah, but I don't want to. I want to work with very specific types of people. So yeah, I think and you were asking earlier, like, how do you get your message out there once you write a book? I think you tell the same stories over and over and over. And I just heard this quote the other day on a branding call. And this guy said, once we start getting sick of telling the same story, people are just starting to hear it. So, like, I've been telling the same story on stages for years. And every time there are people in the audience that go, what? Because they've never heard the story before, even though I've told it 1,000 times. So, yeah, just getting really clear about like what your story is and who it's for. Again, you're not trying to attract everybody. So, like, for me, for the political thing, I know exactly who I'm standing up for, what I'm standing up for. And if you don't agree with me, you're going to hate my message. But man, if you agree with me, guess what? I have 115,000 followers who wait for me to post my next thing. I was laughing so hard. I was getting comments the other day. They're like, when are you running for office? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, no, that's not my thing. I'll just spout off on Instagram. But
That's funny. Hey, I wanna touch on this again because I think it's really important what you said. You said something even for me, I just needed to hear that again for myself. You need to tell the story over and over and over and over and over again until you are so sick of it. Like, that's when other people are finally it's starting to click
yeah,
with other people. How important is that to building a brand?
it's super important. Like, repetition's so important. Like, my brand, I mean, it feels like I've been doing this forever, and I just caught fire this year, and I launched Loud Blonde in January 2018. We are now recording this in October 2025. You have to have longevity in this game, and you have to keep telling the same stories over and over, and it has to be really clear who you are and what you stand for. Like, it's very clear I stand for, I'm no bullshit. I tell it like it is. I'm in your face. I'm loud. I'm proud. I'm a female. I stand up for women's rights. Like, when people see one video of mine, they instantly know what I stand for. So if you're kind of wishy-washy and all over the place, people aren't going to know what you stand for, and they're not going to be able to relate to you. And if they're not relating to you, they're not buying from you. They're not following you. There's nothing to like latch onto. You're not creating curiosity. You're not creating connection if you're all over the place. You have to pick a lane and just stick to it.
I love that. That's like incredible advice.
Thank you. I've been
Really
doing
good.
it for a few years.
Really good advice.
And honestly, like, you asked earlier about like how you do it, like how you have like the guts to get political and just kind of say what you want. I think you have to have a really thick skin. to be an entrepreneur at all. I mean, I think I always joke on these my mom gets so annoyed. I always say that, my mom would be so much happier if I just had some boring 9 to 5 job where I could just, I don't know, be normal. Just sit and collect a paycheck so she could tell her friends what the hell I do for a living. She just goes, I don't know, she does something in marketing. I don't know. And I think you just really have to put your blinders on when you decide to go down a route that your intuition is telling you to go down. Because like when my intuition was saying so loud, you need to lean into Loud Blonde. This needs to be your thing. You need to be a champion for women to do this, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, no, I cannot do this. But then once I leaned in, you have to put blinders on because people will think you're crazy. And once I started going down the political route this year, man, I got so many messages. People are like, hey, be careful. Be careful. And I'm like, you don't know me that well if you're telling me to be careful. I've never been careful with anything. Like people are like, hey, you want to try jumping off this cliff with no parachute? I'm like, that sounds fun. Let's do it. I'll figure it out on the way down. Yeah, you have to have blinders on and just trust your own intuition. And also just never take advice from people who aren't where you're trying to go. The most advice I get is from people's fear. So it's people who don't make their own money, who are stuck in a 9 to 5 they hate, who are stuck in a relationship they hate, who live in a city that they don't like. Like it's all these things. And then they're pushing all of their fear and worry onto you. And they could do it out of caring for you. Like your parents, close friends are like, ooh, careful. Like there's some nuts out there. Like, be careful what you say online, but they've never done what you're doing. Who I'm going to listen to are like in my realm, like the Jon Stewarts, the Chelsea Handlers, like, okay, they went both feet in and now look at what they're doing and what they're saying. And, they're making great money and popular for it. So I'm going to listen to them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said you wanted to really get in the niche. Like I'm a true believer also. Riches are in the niches. Have you heard
Yes.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like picking your avatar, right? Picking your avatar and really honing in on your avatar and it sounds like you've done really well with that. Tell me about that.
And actually, your avatar can change over time. It's funny, your avatar is usually the person you were 1 or 2 steps ago. And so mine keeps evolving. Like my avatar in the beginning was someone who hated her 9 to 5, was stuck in a cubicle, felt like she was chained to a desk all day, and wanted something bigger, but didn't know how to create something outside of a 9 to 5. Well, I'm the queen of spinning up side hustles. So at first I was teaching people how to spin up side hustles, whether it was like e-com. I did a lot of stuff on Shopify. I don't touch that stuff anymore. Now I'm to the point where I'm like, you're already an established brand, but you're not getting the traction you want. You're already an entrepreneur. You maybe have had some small stages, but you want a bigger audience. You want a bigger spotlight. You want a bigger megaphone. Then now you come to me and then I can really hone in and dial in your brand and your messaging and get you on those bigger stages. So it's come a long way. So don't feel like if you pick an avatar now that you have to lock it in and that's your avatar forever. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then also the intuition and the advice too. So the intuition, I feel like, gosh, I feel like a lot of people just ignore that voice. And I don't know if you have the same experience.
Oh yeah.
Like I watch people ignore the voice, and me, I'm like very decisive, and I just go like, but a lot of people aren't like that.
Right.
They're more cautious, right? And so what's your advice to people that are maybe struggling with that?
One piece of advice would be to ask yourself whose voice is actually in your head. Is the fear in your head, is it actually your own voice? Are you someone who's like, if you've ever done like the DISC analysis, are you someone who's way more of like a type C who really needs to see the data and like read the instruction manual before you even pick up a screwdriver? Then maybe, okay, you need some more data points to make that decision. But if you're not like that, like I'm not like that, I could buy something from IKEA and I immediately chuck the instruction manuals and I'm like, I can figure this out. And I may have a couple extra screws left at the end, but it's fine. So if you, like for me, I realized the voice of fear in the back of my mind was always my mom's voice. Again, she's going to hate that I say this, but she's the cautious one. My mom and I are very different. She's very by the book. She's a rule follower. She she's scared to do anything out of like a societal norm where I'm just not wired like that. I'm wired to be like, again, jump and I'll figure out how to build a parachute on the way down. So once I realized, oh, it's my parents' voice in my head that's trying to keep me safe. It's not my actual voice, because my actual voice is like, you need to lean into this. This is what you were put on the planet for. Go 100% in. So once I figured that out, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to listen to my voice because I know what's best for me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I never really thought about that. Like, whose voice is it that you're actually
Hmm.
hearing? Because I think you're right. I think it could be like your parents' voice, or but we're all built on, past traumas and
Yeah.
past
Or like
experience.
I live in Salt Lake now. It could be your church's voice. There's a lot of that in this, especially in this city. Like, oh, I can't do this. I just listened to this fascinating book. It's called Bad Mormon. It's by Heather Gay. She's one of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I listened to it on my drive down here, and it's fascinating. Like all the guilt and stuff that was in her head about going on the Real Housewives because of her Mormon upbringing. Like, you're not, especially as a woman, you are not supposed to be showy. You're not supposed to be more than anybody else in the congregation. Da, 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 da. So there's a lot of that too. Like I had Catholic guilt for years being in a marriage I didn't want to be in. And so it's like, whose voice are you hearing? Are you hearing the congregation's voice? Are you hearing your priest's voice? Are you hearing your parents' voice? Your boss's voice? Or is it really your voice? That's what you need to figure out.
And then once you figure it out, how do you hone in on your own voice?
A lot of journaling and meditation. I think you get better at listening to it and acting faster the more you do it. Like you were saying, oh yeah, I take action. I take action. I'm better at that the older I've gotten. But that comes with age. It just comes with age and confidence and experience. The more reps you have under your belt, the more confident you'll get. It's terrifying doing anything for the first time. Yeah. Like I grew up downhill skiing. I remember my parents left me on the top of my first black diamond, and I just sat there and cried, and they literally left me there. I think I was like 6. And they're like, well, she'll figure it out. She needs to figure out how to get down. And now I love skiing. I do it every winter. I just moved to the mountains to ski. And so it's just like, no matter what age you are, the first time you do something, it's going to be scary. Just know that, like, it comes with the territory. You're not going to be good the first time. You just got to get the first ugly reps out of the way. Just get them out of the way and it'll get better. I just recorded my first podcast episode the other day. It's terrible, but I don't care. I got the first reps under my belt. I love it. I guest on podcasts all the time, and I'm like, oh, doing my own show is a lot harder.
I'm sure it was great. I think we're all our own worst critics.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? All right, let's go deeper. What's the hardest thing that you've ever had to face that nobody knows about?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, some people know about this, but I went 100% into my business I launched my book in 2019. 2020 was going to be my year. And I had all kinds of stages, retreats set up throughout 2020, all over the country. I was leading a retreat in Costa Rica. It was going to be amazing. And then we all know what happened in March 2020. And so I went from making 12 grand a month to making $0 a month overnight, to the point where I didn't think I would be able to pay my bills. Like, it was a very scary time. So I had to go back, took a couple jobs in corporate. So I just relaunched my kind of entrepreneurship middle of last year. I'm really back 100% in it after getting back out of corporate. So yeah.
And how do you think that shaped you, who you are today? How do you think that experience shaped who you are today?
Well, it's interesting. It gave me a lot of PTSD wanting to go full time into Loud Blonde again. And I was talking to a coach of mine, and she goes, well, isn't that great? You already got that it's already happened. That's never going to happen again. You're never going to have that epic crash again. It's already happened. So you can only go up from here. And I was like, oh, that's a really good reframe. So yeah, I think it held me back a lot in the beginning after I was fired my 5th time. But every time I get fired, I'm like, this is the universe saying, you are not supposed to be working for other people. You're supposed to be leading your own thing. And every time I'm like, oh, but it's so much work and it's so scary. But then the more you lean into it, I'm like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how you can reframe a thought or reframe perception on a situation, and one of my favorite psychologists of all time, Carl Jung, he said that if there's 9 billion people on the planet, there's 9 billion different realities, quote unquote reality. And he makes the remark, like, when you're a kid and your parents are like, I can't wait till you have to get out there into the real world, like, but that's like, there's a different real world for each person, because it's all in the way that you look through the glasses.
Yeah, totally.
Right? And I think, like, for someone in your position, how important is it that you've got the right set of glasses on, number 1,
I love
and
that.
number 2, how do you keep that perception in line with ways that are gonna move you forward in your career and your goals? There's gotta be daily activities that help keep that perception right.
Oh my gosh, those are two really good questions. I think for keeping the glasses on, oh, I just had such a good thought and it went away. Let me do tools first and I'll get back to that. Tools, I try and meditate every morning. I get out in nature every day. I feel like ever since COVID, especially when most of us are still like working from home and we're just, you kind of do everything in a vacuum as an entrepreneur and especially a solopreneur. Like you really need to get out of your office. You need to get out of your own head. I had a coach a long time ago say, get out of your head. It's a scary place. So I think you need to schedule time to get out of just constantly doing stuff at a computer and just go out and realize like no one else is really paying attention to you, especially if you're trying to build a brand and a personal brand. All you're doing all day is doing your own stuff that's about you. You need to get outside and realize like there are millions of people out there who don't know who you are, don't care what you're doing. And that's actually a really good gut check and ego check. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm not getting enough traction or no one cares about me, blah, blah, yeah, you're right. They don't. And that's actually really freeing. So get outside. And then, oh my gosh, ask your rose colored glasses one again, because I had a really good thought, but now I lost it.
I'll go back to earlier when we were talking about being able to hear your own inner voice. For
Yeah.
me, it's silence and nature, silence and
Yes.
nature, silence and nature.
Yeah.
For me, those are the two things for me to really be able to listen to me or to listen to God. For me, it's the more silence I can have in my life, the better, and the more nature. It just really grounds me. Nature grounds
Agreed.
me so much.
Agreed. Yeah, it's interesting. I lived in Austin for 9 months and there wasn't enough nature there. Like the only real nature is like you're walking along Ladybird Lake with 1,000 other people. And so you're trying to like get in nature and be quiet, but like you can't. And so now I live in the mountains and it's beautiful. I can go right out my door. I'm like in the mountains. It's just so amazing. And just like, yeah, I don't listen to anything when I walk. I learned this really cool meditation technique. It's called the see, hear, feel meditation technique. And it's really fun to do if you're on a walk in nature. So don't have any headphones in. Don't listen to anything. All you're doing is recognizing what you see, hear, and feel on your walk, and you will recognize the most incredible things in nature that you would not have noticed before. So basically, the only thing you're saying in your head is like, see, I see a blue jay on that branch. Hear, I feel the wind, or I hear the wind rustling the leaves. Feel, I feel gravel crunching under my shoes. And those are the only three things you can say in your head to yourself. And it's the coolest thing. So yeah, that helps in nature a lot. I love that.
I do. I love that. I've never heard that
Yeah,
before.
see,
That
hear,
sounds
feel.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
My
really
wife
cool.
and I are really getting into hiking right now,
Yeah, awesome. Yep, you'll have to do that.
so we'll definitely have to do this for sure.
And it's cool, and it makes you touch things too. Like normally when you're walking, you're not touching things. Well, when you're doing a see, hear, feel walk, it makes you like reach out, like touch the bark on a tree, like touch the, palm fronds that you're walking by or the ferns. Like it's really cool to get that tactile sensation. Like we're so used to just sitting on a computer all day and you're not, unless you have like pets or something, you don't get like a lot of tactile sensation. So it's really cool to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks
Yeah.
for the tip. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it. Um, let's shift a little bit. Tell me about a moment that you almost gave up, and there is a moment for everyone that
Oh
they
God.
almost gave up,
I feel like it's every day. No, it
but
was,
you didn't. Tell me
yeah.
about that moment and how you got, more importantly, like how you got past it.
I mean, I think it was definitely that moment in 2020. I mean, I think I lasted until June of 2020 when like all my clients were just like, I'm sorry, like I can't pay you anymore. This is like discretionary spending and I'm terrified of losing my job. I don't know what's happening with COVID. And yeah, I mean, I did give up. I was just like, all right, well, I have to go back and get a real girl, like real person job. And that's it. And I'm not going to do my business anymore. I'm not going to do Loud Blonde. I'm not going to do any of it. Even though I had just written my book and everything, I was like, well, that was a fun adventure, whatever. And then I did a couple corporate jobs until this last June of 2024. Is it June of 2024? It's all blending together now. I got fired again. My boss actually fired me over Slack, which was lovely. And I was just like, it was really funny. I had just done an ayahuasca journey in Costa Rica. And what they said at the end of our week doing plant medicine is somebody said, you know, I feel so aligned with my higher purpose. How do I go back to like my negative friends, my job I don't really love, like everything that's not aligned with my highest purpose? And one of the counselors said, oh, you don't have to change anything. Everything that's not aligned with your highest purpose will fall away naturally. So within 3 days, I think, of getting back in the States, I got fired from my job. The person I was dating decided they were in love with their best friend and peaced out. And then I was coaching volleyball and that fell through because the head coach got fired and I went with her in solidarity. So these 3 things that were like keeping me kind of out of alignment fell away. And I was like, whoa. And so I remember just walking out on my deck and looking up at the sky and going, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm supposed to be jumping back into Loud Blonde. I haven't been living in alignment these past like 4 years. I heard, got it. And I jumped in with both feet. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It was wild. It was a wild time.
But listen, here's the thing. You could have gone a totally different way with that. And you could have been like, oh, this sucks. Woe is me. You could have gone a totally different way, but you chose to interpret those things in a positive way.
Yeah. I feel like it's just that cheesy saying like, when God closes a door, he opens a window. Like, but it felt so divine. It was like divine intervention. I knew, I felt it in my whole body. I was like, got it. God just moved everything out of my way that was keeping me from living my purpose. So now I have to take the scary step as the human here on earth to step into that purpose, even though it's terrifying. I don't know where my next money's coming from. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I just have to trust in myself that I was given this purpose and that I'm smart enough to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you wish that more people understood about the price of chasing their dreams?
Ooh, that's so good. How long it's going to take. And people tell me this too. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Like whenever I have a new idea, people are like, well, that's not going to happen for years and years. And I'm like, don't put your naysaying on me. Whenever people are naysayers or victim mentality, I'm like, that's a you problem. I'm like, I'm pretty like sunny, like I see the glass like really full, like overflowing. I'm like, I got this. But no, it really does take years. I think I'm just so like Pollyanna about how long things actually take that I'll just keep plugging away. And oh yeah, here I am, 7 years later, and I finally blew up on Instagram. I'm like, okay, it's like the overnight success 20 years in the making. I think you have to have perseverance and you have to be so committed to your goal that because it's never a linear line. You don't start and then it goes up like a mountain and it's a linear line to success. It's like all those drawings where it's just like, oh my God, you're ups, downs, arounds, sideways, and there will be huge hurdles thrown at you. So is that going to make you stop? Or is that going to put you on pause for a little bit like it did me? It definitely paused me for a couple years, and that's okay. And I got back to it. It could have taken me out of the game. And that was my choice to make. I could have gone back and gotten another corporate job. You always have that choice as a human. So what choice are you making? You're an adult. Like you can't blame anybody else for the choices you're making. So do you have the perseverance and really like the calling for what it is you're trying to achieve. And that's why you have to be really clear about like who are your people and what are you helping them do? Because if you're not clear on that, then the first time a hurdle comes in your way, you're going to quit. You're going to be done.
Yeah, 100%. And it sounds so cliche, like it's all about the journey, not the destination. Like that's very
Totally.
cliche. Like, it's like, the view is so much better. The harder the climb, the better the view. Like these things are so cliche, but they're so true
Yeah.
in the same like I coach my agents all the time. Like once you disassociate yourself from the outcome,
Yes.
it becomes so much easier.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Like,
stop focusing on the outcome.
yeah, it's like me, like putting out this show. I know I'm supposed to have a show. People have been bugging me to put out my own show for years. And I'm like, I don't care what the outcome is. The outcome isn't, okay, I want to be the next Call Her Daddy and get sold for 65 million. I mean, do I want that? Of course I want that. Every female podcaster wants that. But it's more, I want to get my voice out there and give the people what they need to hear. And so I'm just going to keep doing that. And I have no idea where it's going to lead. It might not lead anywhere, but you just have to enjoy. It's so cheesy, but like enjoy the journey. But I totally remember like, I think it was Hal Elrod once said in an interview, he's like, oh yeah, when you get, and people say this all the time, like when you finally get there, you'll realize you never should have come sooner. And I'm like, I don't believe in that. I'm like, yeah, the journey's like, you need to put in the reps and do the journey. But do I wish that I had blown up and gotten famous a lot earlier? Yes, I do. It's been a long time coming.
What are your so you're like I coach my agents a lot about, disassociate yourself from the outcome,
Yeah,
have fun with what you're doing, but also contribution and impact.
yeah, love that.
Contribution and impact. So tell me about um the journey, being a coach, being an entrepreneur, being like how much importance should people place, in your opinion, on creating impact?
I mean, I think it's everything because otherwise, what are you doing this for? Because if you're just, I'm just not wired to do this to make a ton of money. I know a lot of people are. That's awesome. Do I want to make a ton of money? Hell yes. So it can help me do the things I love to do. It's not just about like, oh, look at my rollie on my wrist and like, like my new range in the driveway. Like, would those things be nice? Sure. But that doesn't inspire me. And you can tell the people who are really putting themselves out there to make an impact on others versus to just be like, how much money can I make? It's just like that turn off that like kind of douchey vibe. You're just like, no, thank you. And women have it too. It's like it's just all the people who just wear all the designer stuff. And I'm like, okay, like what's missing from your life that you're trying to cover up with like Chanel? So I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, again, this whole conversation just keeps coming back to who is it you're helping and what are you helping them do? Because if you're not helping other people accomplish their dreams, what's the point? What's the point? I don't know. That seems so simple, but really, what's the point?
No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And I also believe that people are compensated at the level of the problem that they can solve for another human being, right? So
Yeah.
if you're only capable of solving a small problem for someone else, your income will be small. The larger the problem that you can solve, the higher your income, the more impact. It
Oh,
goes
I
it
love
ties
that.
ties in, right?
Yeah, I love that.
What's the single most important lesson that life has taught you? If you had to pick just one that life has taught you, what's that lesson?
I think that your voice is your most powerful weapon. It
Mhm.
really, especially as a woman. I think that the time of us sitting quietly in the back of the room, that's not serving anyone. I'm actually working on a TED Talk right now that I'm giving in November in Austin, all about the dangerous cost of silencing women and just how much innovation is lost when people don't listen to women's ideas. Because we have so much creativity, we're intelligent, we bring a lot of different emotional aspects to a conversation that men might not be thinking through. And so I think, use your voice. Don't be scared to stand up for what you believe in. And the more people get used to hearing us voice our opinions, stand up for what we believe in, the less scary it gets for everyone and the less resistance we'll get in society.
Yeah, 100%. It makes me think of, I'm a huge Mel Robbins fan.
Hmm.
I don't know if
I
you
love
are.
her. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But it makes me think of her most recent book too, Let Them, right? So definitely that's a great lesson. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind, and not just in business, but just in life in general? What's the legacy? What do you like?
I think really this goes so well with this podcast is just authenticity. That living your most authentic life is the best life that you can live. Like, stop living for other people. Stop living. Like, I see so many women, especially, and especially from different cultures, not necessarily Americans, but more, well, some Americans, but more from like more traditional cultures where it's like, no, we brought you here so you can become a doctor or so you can do this for the family. And it's like, I just see so many people living for their family or there's the societal norms versus living for their authentic self. And I think if we all did authentically what we were put on this planet to do, everyone would be so much happier. Like, there's so many of us that are just walking around like drones, just, going to the office, getting the paycheck just to like drink ourselves to death on the weekends because we can't even deal with like that we only have 2 days to ourselves. Like, that's the life we want to live. That sounds awful to me. So why are we all doing it? Like, why can't we all figure out how to make money and make society a better place doing the things that we all are good at, that we want to do? Like, if you want to go teach scuba lessons in Bali, do it. Why aren't you? Like, that sounds amazing. Like, if you want to go be a podcaster and try and figure that out, people have done it. Look at Joe Rogan. He led Fear Factor and now he's a #1 podcaster. So you can do whatever your little heart desires.
Joe Joe's amazing. Anyway, let's talk about what's the biggest risk that you've ever taken that changed everything moving forward for you?
I was like, this is a hard one. I take a lot of risks. I guess I move a lot. I'm kind of in my nomad era right now. And well, okay. The first time I moved anywhere crazy, I moved to Italy by myself right after college graduation. So all of my friends were getting jobs in like banking out of college. And I was like, you couldn't pay me to work at Merrill Lynch. That sounds awful. And all I wanted to do was get back to Europe because I had studied abroad in Florence my junior year. And so I figured it out. I found a job over there. I convinced them that I spoke Italian, which I think at the time I could order a cappuccino. And I was on a plane, I think 2 weeks after graduation, and I moved over by myself at 22, which was awesome. But I think it gave me the confidence to be like, oh, I can figure this. I can figure anything out. Like, I'm self-reliant. I'm independent. I don't need anybody's help. I can figure stuff out. So that kind of just flows into business too. If something doesn't work out, I can figure it out. Okay, I get fired from a job. Okay, the world isn't ending. I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. And I think coming from that mindset, instead of having a victim mindset of like, oh God, I lost my job. Oh, what am I going to do? You'll figure it out. You're an adult. Figure it out. It's not like there's a million options. There's a million solutions for every problem. You just have to get creative sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I had a thought while you were talking about how why do we do this? So I think Tyler Durden said it best. Like, we work at a job that we hate to pay for a fancy car to drive us to the job that we hate. And then we work at that job to buy a fancy suit to impress the people at the job that we don't even like.
Yep.
That was Tyler Durden, right?
It's so good. Great movie. Great movie. I need to rewatch that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time.
But there's so much wisdom in that movie, actually, if you dig deep into it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But it eventually your stuff starts to own you, like all that stuff. It's so good.
Exactly.
But it's so true. Like, wait, why? Why do people work the job they hate to pay for the fancy car and then, buy the fancy clothes to impress the people they don't like?
Right. Well, because I think a lot of people are terrified to be their authentic selves. They're so scared that people won't like them for them. So they put on this costume to try and impress people or be the person they think they'll like. So it's like again, it just comes back to, and no offense if you're listening to this and you love name brand stuff. That's your thing. Cool. But I think a lot of people do that, will wear the flashy stuff or drive the and I listen, I love cars. I would spend all my money on cars if I had a lot of money. I think a lot of that stems from such a deep insecurity that it's like you have to paint this exterior like, I'm successful. Look at me, I'm successful, because they don't want you to see how empty they are or sad or scared they are inside. And they think that if they drive the nice car, if they wear the nice watch, if they have the custom suit, you can't see past that to the gooey, chewy, scared little kid inside of them, which is
And I think
sad. It's
I
so
think
sad.
I
But
would
I mean, you
totally
can
agree
see it.
with
Like,
that
we all
statement.
see those people on Instagram. We all see them in conferences, just like rolling in hot. And you're like, honey, we all see through that, which is, it just makes me want to give those people a hug and be like, who do you really want to be? Like, do you want it? Would you rather be just wearing like a prairie skirt and, dancing at some music festival? Because maybe that's what your little soul desires, but you're in, investment banking in New York. Like, there's just so many people living out of alignment, and it's just
Yeah.
sad.
It's funny. I'm listening to the book right now, Who Not How, which
Oh,
I
it's a great book.
freaking love that book.
Yeah, it's really good.
But
I was like, it
yesterday
might be in my bookshelf right now.
yesterday I was driving and I was listening to it, and he was saying like, okay, this one guy, like he defined success for him, and one of the things was I get to wear whatever I want to work. And that really stuck out to me because like I wear flip-flops and trucker hats and t-shirts every day, and like
Got
that's
my
like,
flippies on right now.
yeah, like that's one of the things that makes me feel successful, that I can wear trucker hats and t-shirts and flips. It's
Heck
so weird.
yeah. I'm a Southern California girl at heart. I'm always in flip flops. It's probably 50 degrees outside right now, and I'm in flip flops and jeans.
Me too. It was 30 degrees this morning when I got in the truck.
So
And I'm
funny.
like, flips will go till December.
But that's the thing. Like, I used to work in a bank in my 20s, and they made us wear, this is totally dating me. I'm going to sound like I'm 110 years old. They made us wear nylons with our skirts. And it got to be like 100 degrees in the summer. And obviously you're inside, like you're in air conditioning, but just the walk from my car into that building in nylons made me want to rip my skin off. I hated them so much. They were so antiquated. Even, I mean, I don't think they even make nylons anymore, but I mean, they were so antiquated even at that time. When I was in my 20s, I was like, oh my God, no one our age wears these. Like, why are you making us wear? And so a friend of mine and I, and we were both in our early 20s, and we were like the little, cute hot things in the teller line. We refused to wear them, and I got written up by HR for violating the dress code. And even then, I was like, this is the dumbest rule. It makes no sense. My skirt is completely like a fine length. There is no reason to make me wear nylon. And so I always do that. I always buck against these rules that are in place for no reason. I'm like, I always question authority. I'm like, why? Tell me why. If you can explain why I need to wear these and you have a good enough reason, I'll wear them. I'll wear them every day. But if you can't tell me why this rule's in place, I'm not going to wear them. And so I did. I told HR that, and they couldn't tell me a good enough rule. And then they never said anything again.
Hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, that just goes to society too. It's like, why do you have to work in a job you hate? Why do you have to go to college? If you don't want to go to college, if you hate school and you'd rather go to the trades or go backpack around Europe for a couple years, okay, do it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
I don't
hurting anybody else. I think that's the big thing too. It's like, if whatever you're deciding to do isn't hurting somebody else, you want to go be a ski bum in your 50s? Okay, cool. Sounds awesome. Do it. I'll see you on the chairlift. Like, it's so funny how many people are like, well, you can't do that. Who says? I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. It's the greatest thing about being an adult. Like, I'm finally here. I can eat cereal for dinner.
I mean, my daughter's 14. She wants to start doing her cosmetology thing while she's in
Awesome.
high school. Then she
Yeah.
wants to open a salon, and like her mom's like, no, she has to go to college. And I'm like, college sucks. It like closes your mind.
Yeah. You're like,
It like,
why? I mean, I
fuck.
loved college, but I loved college from a social perspective. I couldn't tell you a single class I took in college. I could tell you the names of them, but like I took stuff like air and space vehicles. sex in Scandinavia because I'm so curious and I didn't know what I wanted a degree in. So I just fucked off. Like I took every cool class that I could sign up for. I took a class called Murder. It was amazing. It was about serial killers. This was way before true crime came out. Super popular. But like, I mean, yeah, I went to college, but have I done, I mean, I even have an MBA. Have I ever used it? No. But I have so much real world life experience. That's what actually does anything for you. So that's awesome that your daughter already knows what she wants to do. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, like I went to college too, and it's great, whatever, but I've never used my degree. I've always been in sales. I've never actually worked for anyone in my entire life.
That's
I've been
impressive.
in sales my entire life, right? And then my degree's in psychology, and I think the degree and or what I learned helped with sales and persuasion maybe, but like I don't know. I just think there's so many other paths that don't require a college education.
And don't require hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Yeah.
cost of college now is just wild.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, last question. If we stripped away your book, your success, your podcast, we stripped all that stuff away, who is Kelly at her core? Who do you want to be known as? And I'm not talking about what you do, I'm talking about who you are.
These questions are so good. This is amazing. Who do I want to be known as? I want to be known as a really good friend. Like someone who will drop everything and be there for you if you need me. Also as someone who is like really fun to travel with. Yeah, I just have an adventurous and curious spirit and I think I bring humor to a lot of situations. So yeah, just like fun and funny and lighthearted and we'll tell it like it is. I always joke that I'm the older sister who will give it to you straight but who you still want to go to happy hour with. So, yeah.
Where were you
So
raised
I am.
at? Where were you raised?
Spokane, Washington, near nature, near
Oh,
perfect.
okay. Okay. I was born and raised in South Jersey, like 10 minutes from Philadelphia, and Philadelphians are just that way.
Yeah. Yep.
Very direct.
Yeah, I'm very direct. Yeah.
Don't hold the punches, don't pull the
Yep.
punches. So every time I meet someone who's like that, I'm like, "Are you from Philly or New York?"
I
Like,
know it's weird. I don't feel like people from Spokane are like that at all. I definitely feel very more like LA or something. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm very direct, but I will say it with love. I'm not saying it to be a jerk.
sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure,
But
sure.
yeah, I'll tell you what you don't want to hear, especially as a coach. I'll be like, no, this is crap. Let's try
You know
again.
what? I get hired all the time as a realtor, and people are like, "I hired you because you were honest and you
Yeah,
didn't hold back the punches." Like I had 3 other realtors come in here, and I could just see right through them. Bullshit, bullshit, and you were just like, "Here's what it is. Call me, don't call me. I'm here to help."
yeah. People definitely
People are
know what they
like,
get.
"That was weird.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't
love
bring a
it.
contract with him." I'm like, "I don't bring contracts with me. I don't like, I'm here to educate you, tell you how to solve your problem. If you like it, let's talk, and I come back and we can do docs later."
That's perfect. Exactly.
And people are getting more, more hip to a lot of the stuff, the sales stuff, and we're being sold so much all day
Oh my
long.
God. I know. And I hate selling because it makes me feel just like, I'm like, listen, I have something that's awesome that I'm offering you. Just here's the price. Don't make me do some big rigmarole with psychology and like take you into your feels and do this and this and this on an hour phone call. Just if you want it, buy it. Like,
Yeah,
just
that's the best way to be, I'm telling you. Alright, so speaking, coaching, somebody wants to get a hold of you for speaking or coaching, how
loud
do they
blonde.
loudblonde.com.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kelly. It's been a
Thank
blast.
you. This is awesome. Thanks so much.